Oh, hello there. 'Tis I, the Beatles. You might know me from hits such as Band on the Run, Imagine, My Sweet Lord, and that song about an octopus-coloured submarine. I just wanted to let you know that when I'm not spending half of my time being dead, I'm spending my time listening to the Improv London podcast. If you found the in-depth character analysis of movies such as Help! I'm Stuck in an Octopus's Garden, and A Hard Day's Night at Michelle My Bells, you'll love Stuart Moses' conversations with some of London and Afar's most interesting improvisers. And remember, all you need is improv. Hey everybody, welcome back to Improv Town. As always, I am your host and ambassador, Clayton Machad. As you might have noticed, I spent a lot of time thinking and talking about the different improv schools of thought and different scenes, and I always tend to think of the different schools of thought as being descended from either, the Chicago Del Close tradition or the Johnstonian school of thought, but I had no idea that there was this whole other improv tradition right in my backyard. In this episode, I talk with French-Canadian improviser Frederic Barbusci about the Quebec-Montreal improv scene, where kids do improv in school, and there's a national improv league styled after hockey leagues with drafts and playoffs. And if you enjoy this eye-opening conversation, please rate and review Improv Town wherever you listen to podcasts. All right, enjoy. Alright. So I guess before, since we're probably going to be interrupted, we were recording at on the streets of Providence. So what happened with so you were coming in from Montreal?
Yep.
And something happened with
my partner, yeah. Well, we were leaving yesterday morning, and he told me, it's probably nothing, but I was arrested once in 2000, but I've been pardoned, so maybe we'll get stopped at customs. And so and he came back through the customs a few times over the years. It's 18 years ago, and now I don't know, but it was 2 years ago. Something changed 2 years ago, and he has to come with his pardon papers to get through. So he got refused access, and then he went back home, and I just came by myself. So that's why Will Luera played with me last night. We never met before. I knew him from someone else, and we chatted a few times, but I said, do you want to play a format you never played before with somebody you never played before? And he said, yeah, sure, great. So we did it, and it was great. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I saw it.
You saw it?
Yeah, it was a great show.
Thanks.
So let's just start with some introduction.
Okay.
Introduction-y stuff. So you do mostly French improv, right?
Yeah. I started, to put the background around French improv in Canada, there used to have improv in the 60s, like kind of hippie thing, where they were all together in front of thousands of people, and, thousands, maybe a few hundred, and it was something where they did drugs, and they were there and acting together, improvising. In the 70s, a company called Théâtre Expérimental de Montréal, Montreal Experimental Theater, they were trying new stuff, and they were asking themselves, why does everybody at hockey have fun and it's always full, and in theaters the fun is less present, and there's not as many people?
Yes.
So they say, why not try a mix of our national sport with theater? And they created the National Improv League. So it's called la LNI, National Improv League, in 78. And now they did it They did 4 shows, and then it was packed all nights, and they played at midnight. And they put on, how do you say, supplémentaire, put on more shows. They put 17 more, and it was all packed. And then they did the second season, and over, and it went on TV. And when it started on TV, everybody started playing that format. And it's still on after 40 years. I play with the Ligue Nationale d'Impro, National Improv League, since I've been playing since 2005, but that game I've been playing since 97 at school when I started high school. So it's kind of in our DNA, playing at school, improv in that format.
What type of format?
That's the improv match. Well, it's based on hockey. You have kind of a little hockey rink that maybe 4 meters by 3 meters, and you have 2 teams of. Well, now we play 4 against 4, but it used to be 6 against 6, and in schools sometimes it's 8 or more. And there's a coach and there's a referee. The referee brings out there's something. Well, how do you call this? A tumbling, rotating thing with titles in them.
Yeah.
He picks one. He says, "Okay, next improv will be mixed." So that's the 2 teams playing together, or comparative. That's the 2 teams one at a time. So you play your scene and then I play mine. And so that's the nature of the improv, mixed or comparative. Then he gives the title. Then he gives category, like it can be a freestyle, or it can be singing, rhyming, wordless, and in the style of an author, or
genre.
Yeah, genre, yeah. And then there's the duration. It can go from 30 seconds to 20 minutes. And then there is the how many players. So it can be unlimited, or 1 blue, 1 red, or 2 blue, 1 red, or 1 man blue and 1 woman red. And so he picks them out and tell it to the audience and the players. We have a huddle for 20 seconds and then start to play. And after the scene, the audience votes for the team that they preferred, and then we get a point. And at the end of the match, 1 hour and a half later, with the team with the most points wins.
Yeah.
That's about it. That's about it. So that is what is played mostly in Quebec. And in France also, and Belgium and Switzerland, and even Italy. Yeah, I have my improv match, Italian improv match shirt. So it's played in about 30 countries in 7 languages. I think it's played in South America, and so it went really viral in the 80s. And now something is strange, because France and Europe is growing out of it, but we are, it's difficult for us to grow out of it. I'm trying with my company I still play the game. I love it. I do it every week, but with my company, we do more of a non-competitive based improv. Because,
right. Yeah.
So that's about the picture of where I come from. And now, afterwards, in 2000, I had a group called Saint Place with whom we played and got rid of all the rules and just said it's the format without format. So we just play for an hour and a half or 2 hours, and we just go as we like and listen to each other and just be in the moment with the others and explore. And we did that for 15 years, and it opened our eyes to, okay, there's something else. And now I know that there's an improv everywhere in the world, but in Quebec, it's hard to see past the language barrier and the fact that there's not only the match, but there are also all kinds of things. So, that the Herald is not well known in Quebec. So, that's about it. And, so since 2000, I've been exploring elsewhere. I've been invited in Europe, and I give workshop everywhere in the French-speaking language world. Now, first time in the States. Can you believe I gave a workshop in Italy before the United States? That's kind of weird. And we don't really know improv from the rest of Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah, it is interesting because like the story that you're telling is very similar to like the
Johnstone. Yeah.
Like yours is just a very hockey specific version of theater sports that they do.
They did at the same year. They invented it the same year.
Yeah.
It at approximately the same time, and they didn't know each other, and it just popped up and in the same country.
Yeah, the same thought too of like, why is it that the audience is so like enthusiastic at sports games? But
so that's our background. That's my and now I'm exploring. I like to listen to podcasts and I listen a lot of American podcasts, and I hear about technical terms that we didn't explore because we were too young and just going instinctively. So you have words for things that we do naturally.
Right.
And it's really weird because I don't know if it's a good thing, labeling things, or not. It's a good thing because you can identify something that you can work on, but you cannot grow out of it because it puts you in a box, like the
rules and things like that.
Yeah, so it's kind of we should explore both worlds and mix it up.
Yeah, it must be interesting, like being from your own improv community and then like discovering a whole other, totally.
Yeah.
Because there's even pretty strong differences between the Johnstonian people and the Chicago Del Close.
And they are also, I talked about it with Will Luera in our podcast, who is the Spanish Del Close, or who is the Asian Johnston, or in Quebec is Robert Gravel, who's the inventor of what we're playing, and so we all once in a while somebody says, well, Robert wanted it that way, but he's dead since 1996, so we're presuming that he wanted the game to be played in a certain way. I heard you say with Joe Bill that the fact that the Keith Johnston movement is still going because he's alive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because it's easy when someone's dead. It's easy to be like, well, I think they wanted us to do it this way, and I think they wanted us to do it this way. Okay, well, we're gonna go start a school that does it this way, and then. But if the person's still alive, they can be like,
I want it that way.
Nope, I meant this.
But how much guys and girls and is there out there in other languages that do this stuff and invented improv in their own language, and the things that we don't know that exist right now?
I know.
Do you know some?
No. Well, I was looking at this one. There was this book I wanted to get, and it was in German.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, this is interesting. And it was on, like, the different schools of improv thought, too. So I was like, I wonder what... Yeah, so tell me more about the French-Canadian improv.
Improv scene in Quebec?
Yeah, or just, like, because I think most of the people who listen probably know, like, the Chicago...
Yeah.
Like, how, the Del Close myth.
Yeah.
And then most of the people probably know a decent amount of the Johnstonian, story. So what is the French Canadian improv story?
But I started the story with the creation of the improv match, and now when it went on TV, I was allowed to go to bed later to watch it on TV. So that's how big it was. Everybody was watching in the 80s, and most of the school have one or two teams playing against other schools, and from high school to college, university, and then there are amateur leagues everywhere. In Montreal, there's at least 4 or 5 leagues a night. You can go see. You can choose.
It's a huge thing.
It's a huge, and in each town you have, in each big city in Quebec, you have an improv league where sometimes people from the National League get called to play with. I go to, I go to Quebec City and play with the league, and I go back to Gaspé and play with another league. And, I'm like, we're the pros meeting with the amateurs and doing workshops and going back and forth. And there are a ton of leagues, and that's kind of the big thing. And then there are a few shows here and there that are not based on the match. In Montreal, there's the Montreal Improv. It's a place where they play in English, but they also play in French now. They opened up to the French community, and with Vinny François, and I don't know if you know them, Brian Walsh and Mark Rowland, and I'm forgetting names, but they opened up 10 years ago, and now it's a little place. I like to say it's an island in an island. It's more, they have more connection with the States, the United States, than with the rest of Quebec.
Yeah.
So that's kind of bizarre, but we're trying to bridge that gap right now. We're exchanging more, but the fact that the people in Quebec mostly think that we invented improv, and the only way to play is the improv match, that's kind of weird when you get out of the French community.
Yeah. I mean, I can imagine, because that's like a whole improv scene and story that I don't know. Like, I try to know a lot about improv, even stuff that isn't necessarily like the stuff that I do.
Well, you can watch it on YouTube if you want to. It's in French, but there's a lot of on YouTube in improv match. LNI, Les Grands Duels. They did a show 10 years ago, about 10 years ago. It's called Les Grands Duels. It's 1 against 1 for an hour, and so you play a match by yourself against another player, and that's the concept. But we know that we have to play with the other one we say against, but truly you have to play with them. You have to, but sometimes the format is bigger than the scene, and you get swept by the fact that you want to win that improv, or something gets corrupted by the format, the fact that it's competitive. So sometimes you get swept by it, and I don't really like, but I get caught in that thing once in a while, but I try to grow out of it.
Yeah, right. So, so then you were saying that there isn't really, so like the match thing is super popular, like everyone.
Yeah. It's huge. When we go in Europe, we go play the match. I played in Paris in front of 700 people 2 nights in a row, and we were rock stars. It's and people in Morocco play the match, and they don't know why they're wearing a hockey jersey, but they do, and they play the match. They play our rules, and it's it worked because it was accessible. You say, oh, you want to play a match? Go, let's go. Assemble 2 teams and let's play. And that was it. And the rules are simple, and you get and you just play. You can play with kids. You can play with. So, well, we can say that about improv everywhere, but the fact that it was so accessible, it went viral.
Yeah, I like it's interesting how you like talk about it, because it does sound like sports, where it's like, why are certain sports more popular? It's like soccer, because it's like you just need a ball and just like kick it around.
That's it.
Versus like, American football or like something that requires. But it's so interesting to like think about improv as like in that same sport.
But the fact that it's so effective as a format that we believe in it, and I used to play I used to play it like a sport. I wanted to make my friends laugh and wanted to have points and have the first star in the match, because we get stars. The best player has the first star, second star, third star, like in a hockey match. And I wanted to win tournaments. I won world tournaments of improv because of that. And you get really into it, and you play it like a sport, and then you get tired of it because it's corrosive, and you either stop or you continue doing the same stuff over and over again, or you grow out of it. And that's where I am right now. I'm reaching out.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Maybe the same thing could be said about the American format, because I was talking with Will Luera, and he said, I said, do you know why the shows are always 25 minutes? That's I don't know why. It should be longer. It should be at least 50 minutes, or we're used to pay an hour and a half. So and the show is about 2 hours, because there's an announcer and kinds of things like that. So we're used to play very long shows.
Yeah.
And we get here, 25 minutes, bing, 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 and it's done. We get to another group, or it's over, and you say, I just got into it. And maybe Americans could grow out of the shorter format. I know that there are other stuff than short format, but do you think that you are imprisoned in this way to play?
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's... one thing is, even in America, there's still, like, the theater sports, or, like, Maestro, Improv, and they'll do...
Maestro is Keith Johnson,
the other Keith Johnson one. So, like, I feel like the difference between those are like, it's an hour and a half show, but everyone isn't on stage at the same time. Like, okay, we're gonna have one player from this team and one player from this team, and so, like, you might only be in in a quarter of the scenes or something, and that's probably still the case in a montagey thing, because you're not in the scene all the time, but you still, like, have the opportunity to be in the scene all the time.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Because I've done both forms. Like, I've played theater sports, and also played 15-minute sets. 15
minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's a scene, no?
Like, right, it is. Yeah, but you still get, like, but you end up getting more freedom somehow, and then, like, 15 minutes to do, like, anything that you want, as opposed to, like...
waiting 15 minutes to do what you want,
like, or for to be, like, told what scene you're
doing.
Like,
okay.
Do a mother and daughter scene at the...
Okay.
So, I mean, that's just two different ways of, like... Two different ways or stage time that people want to get, I guess. But I think that the main problem with, like, why you see so many 25-minute shows and stuff is that I don't think that that's what people are aiming for, or, like, I don't think that is, like, people's goals. I think everyone would love to just be doing like a 45-minute set. But then I definitely agree with you that like people doing an hour and a half does seem like overwhelming to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But it's really because in America, like Chicago style improv, it's so like team based. Like you're on a team, you can't just throw anyone else into like an actual established team. So it's more like providing opportunities for the people who like aren't really good yet to
experiment,
be able to perform. You know, so like maybe the show would be like have the headliners and they get to perform for 45 minutes, and then there's some newer team that gets to perform for 20 minutes. Okay. And then like hopefully eventually people on that team get good enough to get moved up to the longer one.
It's like in sports. Where you go in the minors and then you hope to get picked up by the major leagues and
right. Yeah, that is one thing that the competition that like both the Johnstonian and it seems like we were talking about have in common is I assume that like anyone can play the match, right? Like or does it get down to like there really are teams?
Well, usually each league has his recruiting camp where they recruit. So on a weekend, everybody wants to be in that league, go and do the trials, and then the league decides who they will keep and in which team they will be on for this season, and then the next season they start over. So usually when you play in a league, you stay there a couple of years and you just go on. And, but sometimes you play in more than one league, and we're used to play everywhere. I used to play I was in 2 leagues on Sunday night, so when I didn't play one place, I played at the other. I was in a league on Sunday, Monday night also. I was hosting a league Tuesday night. Wednesday I was coaching. Thursday I was playing. Friday I was referee. So it was all week long. That was about 20 years ago, but I used to play every day of the week.
Are there like seasons?
Yeah, like hockey season. And then you play, and then at the end of the season, there's the playoff, where there's the semifinals and finals, and then there's the season winner or whatever.
Cool. So everyone's on the team, like a regular sport.
Yeah. Yeah, you get drafted by a team, and then you play. I got drafted by the National League in 2005, and I've been passed around the teams each year. This year I'm with the Greens. But now I'm exploring new stuff. Well, not new stuff, but elsewhere, non-competitive based, and also where I'm shying away from American-based improv. Well, we don't ask audience suggestions. We try to do it more like theater play, where you come in and you'll watch the show. You'll get, I don't know, you get you like it, you don't like it, but you watch the show and then leave. And if you think it's not improv, well, too bad for you. But it's just let the audience be an audience and just watch a show like an audience will do at the movies. You don't ask them anything at the movies. You just put on a show, and then that's what we're trying now. We're just doing stuff where we get our inspirations from ourselves, from music, from depends on the format, but we get things to influence our reactions, and then we just play, and hoping that it moves the audience. That's where we're with the Production de l'Instable, the Unstable Production, my company. That's where we're looking. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, I like that. I'm not like the hugest fan of like getting the suggestion.
It can be fun. We should not never do it. It's fun, and but it shouldn't be the go-to format. It shouldn't be the thing that you do improv, ask a suggestion. Oh, you can do it, or you can choose not to do it and try something else and then go back to it. And I think everything that exists, you must play it once or try it a certain way and try it again maybe a few years later and just go along with it. And even though that's not my cup of tea, but I'll try it anyways and have fun with it while I'm there, and then go back to what fuels my creation and the things that I like more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. It's so interesting to think of, like, that there's this whole other... Because I imagine even Johnstone and Del Close, like, these two things are being kind of made in parallel, but they're, like, in some ways reactionary to each other.
Yeah. Yeah. But now they're, Johnston and the French-Canadian Improv is meeting in some kind of way in France, and because French people are opening up to other formats and really exploring, so they grew in our kind of format and they are exploring before us elsewhere. So, and they're mostly Johnstonian in France. A lot of them.
Yeah, I would imagine. Both.
Oh, that's a motorcycle. Did you Google my name? Why did you ask me to do the podcast?
Well, so I just, friends with Tim Thibodeau.
Okay.
So I was just asking him who's going to be there this year, because I interviewed him a while ago.
And then you said, who's that dude?
Yeah, that French weirdo.
Yeah, that's me.
And he was like, wow, seems really into talking about improv. So
Yeah, well, I do. I go with my podcast mostly in French, but I go around and talk to people like you do just to get a better feel of what's going on in their exploration. And mostly my questions are, well, it's more of a discussion like we do right now, but I usually ask them, what haven't you done until now that you would like to do? Or what don't you know? Oh man, what thing that doesn't exist or you don't know exists that you want to do? Because there are a lot of things that we don't know that exist, and I know I want to do this stuff. So that's why I speak to people. I want to, show me yours. Show me what you do. Okay, you do it that way. That's perfect. Oh, I will get inspired by what you did and just bounce off of it, and like in improv and create something in my city based on what I saw here in Providence or somewhere else. So that's what's your thing that you haven't done in improv that you want to do?
Oh, turning the tables. Well,
there's no limits. It could be, I would like to play in space, or absolutely no limits.
Well, the thing I actually want to do is like a show where I guess it'd be kind of like equal parts music and improv. So you'd have like a band or singer, songwriter, type person.
We always play with a musician in Montreal.
Yeah.
A live musician. We have it's like jumping off a plane with a guy that can fly.
Yeah.
You know he's there for you, and he's always on point. And so sorry, keep on there.
Yeah. But like rather than it being, an accompanist, it would basically just be like they would play a song, and then that song would be used in the way that a monologue or something would be used in an improv scene. The band would play a song, maybe the improvisers would ask them questions about the song, and then they would do a scene based on that song. And preferably it would be like very sad songs.
Yeah.
And like funny scenes to try to...
contrast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. I thought it would be a cool idea because it would get like the people who like the band and the people who like the...
Yeah.
I don't know. come up with so many just ideas.
Well, you gotta do
all
it.
The time.
You have to try them. That's yeah. Well, I ask myself, what are the things that I didn't have to do, that I didn't do up till now, and that I wanted to do, and I wrote it down the list, and I had I'd like to play with 30, 40 people at the same time, and the year after I did it in Bordeaux in France, and we were 37 on stage for 1.5 hours, and it went really good.
Wow.
And then I said, wow, I would like to do a wordless show. So we did it about 15 times. I did it also in France, and I did it in Quebec. There's not a word said in the show. We just go, we just act and do sounds and mime, but it's not a mime show, it's just wordless. And I wanted to do a show about songs, and we did it. Every scene is a song. So I'm just asking myself, yeah, what do I want to do? And then I try it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, festivals are like good places to see just all different stuff. Like the improvised comic book.
Yeah.
Last night. Yeah. I want to ask you just more about Quebecois improv scene, I guess. So.
You want me to teach you how to swear in French Canadian?
We can my girlfriend speaks French.
Oh yeah.
I'll have her translate. I'll watch some of
Okay.
the matches.
Well, we speak French Canadian, so it's French, but sometimes for people who learn French in France with mostly European, they don't. It's like as if American English was not very well known, and the British English was the most common English.
Yeah.
And then you listen to American English and you say, "Oh, okay, I do understand, but it's kind of weird." So that's what we are for French, European French.
Yeah. So what I wanted to ask is about. So like you said, it's super ubiquitous. It's just like sports. So I almost want my question is about whether there are like improv schools and like famous institutions. So like in America, in like the Chicago, you know, like there's.
It's starting. It's because. Did you finish your question?
Well, just that like.
Sorry.
You know, like we have like UCB,
Yeah.
Improv Olympic, Second City, and there are these famous schools that the most famous improvisers came from, and then there's just certain theaters that become really famous, which is in part like because improv isn't such a popular thing. You kind of like need to go to these New York City, Chicago, LA to learn them. Is it equipped, like, do people ever go in, like, paid classes to, like...
Yeah, well, it's starting because, as I said earlier, we start so young that we learn it when we're 12, 13, 14 years old, and we have a coach who tells us, play more of this, play more of that, and sometimes the coaches are not that good, but they try their best, and when we get to our 20s or 22, we just, I know how to play improv, I don't need a coach, and we just go play in leagues, and we don't bother with learning. But now, since about 10 years, that National Improv League has got a school. There's a guy in Montreal called Roberto Sierra who founded this school. He coached in all kinds of leagues, and he played in everywhere. There's the Montreal Improv who gives out classes also. And my school, I opened it 3 years ago, and I have like 2 groups, a season. In autumn I have 2 groups, and in winter I have another 2 groups, and I give classes when it fits in my schedule. And that's about it. And in Quebec, there's also the Club d'Impro who gives out teachings, and it's starting little schools, but it's I don't want to sound cocky, but I think that what we offer in Les Productions Instables, in Unstable Production, my company, is more based on the philosophy of playing instead of just learning the rules and how to play or how to better respond. I didn't go through all the schools, so I cannot talk for them. I don't know what they teach exactly, but I get people that go through all the schools, and I do not teach any format-based improv. I just teach the ground, the basics of playing in the moment with your partner. That's about it.
Yeah, so that's the most important thing to you.
Yeah. Well, we listened to your podcast, me and my co-producer, about the Joe Bill said there is playing for the audience, playing for yourself, playing for your partner, playing for the narrative, something like that.
Yeah.
And we thought about it, and I think we're mostly on the narrative because that's what we want. I would gladly let you rip my arms off no, not for real, but in the scene, if it serves the narrative. I would gladly stop, go out of the scene if it doesn't need me. I would gladly come back if it needs me, even though I don't want to go in. If it needs me, I'll go in. I think that's what is the core of our teachings, is just do what the scene needs. And afterwards, the scene needs you to acknowledge your partner. The scene needs you to react truthfully. The scene needs you to have fun. The scene needs you to have everything. But what does the scene needs? I think that's the core of what we're teaching. And I always say, I'll teach you what I think is improv, and then go on your own way and decide what you take and what you leave, and do your own thing. And I won't be bothered by I would gladly share whatever you think about it. And but that's what I teach. Yeah.
Cool. Was this your first time teaching an English workshop?
Taught? No, how do you say teach in the past tense? Taught, yeah. I taught in English a few times before, but it was always in front of a few French-speaking people, so it wasn't the same vibe. But that was my first time today in the United States doing a workshop in English, and it was really great. And it was a bit of it was kind of special because there's the language barrier, but I think we got through it. And yeah, you should ask them, not me, if it went well.
Sure. Yeah, it went fantastic. Cool. Are there any other specific things that you...
Oh man, there's a lot of them, but
You want to plug your podcast?
yeah, it's called Pas d'Impro, but it means no improv. Like, pas, no, improv, mais it's a play on word with podcast, Pas d'Impro. Pod. Yeah. So, Pas d'Impro, there are, I think, 2 or 3 podcasts in English in all the all of the episodes. I got about 28 episodes or something like that. And yeah, well, if you speak French, go listen to it. But if not, well, you can try.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, thanks so much.
Je voulais saluer tous les gens qui parlent français dans ton podcast. Donc à tous les gens qui qui entendent ça en ce moment, je vous salue. Et Clayton Michaud, c'est un bon gars.